Well, some major roadblocks in the fight for political change in Iran. The top electoral body in that country has said this morning there will be no do-over of this disputed presidential election. It, of course, resulted in the supposed landslide victory for the incumbent Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and also the bloodshed on the streets we've been watching from these demonstrators who are protesting the outcome of the election. The group said it found, quote, no major fraud. At the same time, a top judicial official in Iran says a special court has been set up to make examples of those who have been detained as a result of these protests. As reformers in Iran are not giving up the fight to get their votes counted, there's talk of a nationwide strike tomorrow. Let's get to Kitty Logan. She has all the developments for us. She's in London. Kitty, what are you hearing?
Well, this is, of course, initially speaking, a major setback for the opposition movement. Iranian authorities are confirming today there will be no rerun of the election. They will accept the count as it is, and that means in the coming weeks President Ahmadinejad will be sworn in for a second term. But the question is now, how will the opposition respond to this? Will it create perhaps an even greater rift between the Iranian authorities and with these street protests, with the movement that we've seen over the past days? The big question is, though, what can they do in practical terms from here? We've seen a very serious crackdown from Iranian authorities on the protesters on the streets. We were expecting a strike today, which doesn't appear to have happened, but certainly a clear message from Iran's Grand Council that this is their definitive line. They accept the election results as it is, and they will not bow to any pressure from the opposition. Jane.
Kitty, when we talk about this other protest that has been called, I know it's hard to predict, but would you expect to see big numbers for this, and would we expect to see a violent crackdown?
There is another protest called for Thursday, as you mentioned, but what we're seeing now is that the opposition movement is experiencing great difficulty actually implementing these protests. First of all, there are difficulties in communication and information. Secondly, there's the fear factor. A great number of people have been killed and injured. And thirdly, there are huge numbers of police still out on the streets of Tehran, preventing anyone moving around, preventing any kind of gathering. So it's becoming very difficult for the opposition now. There was talk of a strike today, which we believe hasn't taken hold in any great extent. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Thursday, if this movement will continue at all, Jane, if there's anything the opposition can do from here. But many people here do believe that they have a cause here, that the election was rigged, and they must continue that fight, Jane.
Kitty Logan's in London for us. Kitty, thanks.